Welcome to another edition of Get a Clue Casual Gamer. Today we're getting ready for Christmas because Thanksgiving will have passed. And we're going to be looking at one game today, and we're going to get a clue, C-L-U-E, about a game called Summer Camp. Summer Camp has some unusual aspects to it that will come out as we talk about getting a clue about summer camp. So, C for components. What are we going to find when we open that box? We're going to find a lot of stuff. I'm telling you, a lot. First of all, we're going to find 8 decks of cards. 8 decks. 7 interchangeable ones and 1 base pack. The base pack has like 64 cards in it. Some are free time, s'mores, scavenger hunt, and lights out. I don't know about you, but I've been to camp a few times. So for me, this kind of like speaks to me, summer camp. But besides the base pack, which were those cards, I pulled out a sample of one of these other choice card decks. This one is called Games. There's games and cooking, arts and crafts, water sports, outdoors, friendship, and adventure. And we're going to talk a little bit about those. But this is a sample of what is in the games box. And you have all these different kinds of games. And they each have some sort of ability. And that's what we're going for. We're trying to get these abilities by getting these cards. But the ultimate goal is to get badges and be the first one to get badges, because the first badges are worth more. Like this one's 12, 10, 8, and 6. So you want to be the first one there, or at least the second, so that you can get the higher numbered badges. These are the ones that come with games. Okay? But the base pack comes with 2 different ones. Comes with participation and Camp All-Star. But these are limited to, usually I believe you set up 1 less than the number of people playing. Maybe it's not, but it might be exact, because yeah, it would have to be, because there's only 3 of these each, and it's a 2 to 4 player. It's been a little while since I played it. A couple months. So you have 7 of these small decks and the big deck. You also, and they include badges. Each player will have their own board, different colors, and this is where you're going to have your deck, where you're going to put your badges as you win them, and this is your discard pile. Very simple. This has a little thing for the snack bar tokens, or the camps I went to, we called it the canteen, where you'd get your snacks. But personally, you're not going to stack it up there. You're just going to munch them around at the top someplace, or wherever it's comfortable for you. You'll also, everyone gets 3 of these little meeples, little camper meeples with a little backpack on them. Aren't they adorable? But each one gets 3. Well, where's the board? Well, this is the top of the board. It folds down to this little square, but this is the top of the board. And under it, you're going to stack 3 down, 3 across, so a square of 9 little or smaller squares, which are these. And every time you play, you can mix them up. Just put them out randomly, as long as it's 3 across and 3 down. And that creates your play board. In fact, I think there's, actually, I'll show you in a minute. What else comes? We get a starter camper thing so that you can make sure that everyone has, at the end of the game, that it's a full circle around back to the starting camper, and the rule book. And that's what's you're going to find inside this box. Those are the components. The length of play, it's usually between 30 and 45 minutes. 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how many people are playing and how quickly people play. They have to make decisions, and it depends on how long each one takes for these decisions. But 30 to 45 minutes is about the approximate time for this game for 2 to 4 players. 2 players closer to 30 minutes, 4 players closer to 45 minutes. Okay, so it's really not a very long game, but it's long enough to give you some good choices and things to do during it. Let's see. So components, length, uniqueness. Well, uniqueness as in similar, the antonym being similar to something. Once you've got this board set up, each of these little squares has 6 and a bridge. So it has 7 spaces to move ahead. You're going to have 3 tracks, 3 meeples, and it's basically a race to get to these places first to get the highest point badges, with a total of 5 badges possible. So the race aspect is very similar to a lot of games that we're used to, like Sorry or Trouble or Parcheesi or Chinese checkers. I mean, they're all race games, trying to get someplace before everyone else. So that aspect of this game is very similar to those. But what is really unique in many hobby games opposed to mass market games is something called deck building. I guess you could say the grandfather of deck building games is War. If you've ever taken a deck of cards and played War, that is a form of very chancy deck building. You're playing, you flip a card, and whoever has the highest card takes it, and now it's part of his deck or her deck. And you just keep on doing that until somebody ends up with none and the other one ends up with them all. That's War. Well, in this deck, in most deck building games, you're building your own deck, but you're not taking from someone else. You're building your own deck from what's available, and you're choosing what you want to add to your deck to make it worth more, make it work for you better. And in this game, you're going to start off with the base pack, which is used for every game, and then you're going to choose any 3 of these 7, which makes it very replayable, because no 2 games are going to ever be the same, because you can mix and match any of 3 of these. And remember, you're going to be moving these around so that even the paths are going to be a little different every time, because in the past they have some places, if you land here, you get something like that. If you land here, you get that ability. here you get a different ability. So it depends on where you stop on in your path. So every game is very different, which is very unique in compared to mass market games, the games that we grew up with. Most of those are the same. It's just the roll of the die tells you how far to go ahead. Well, here, you don't use dice. Did you see any dice? No, you use your cards to move ahead. Like this one says, move 2 spaces on the game's path. Move 2. And it has a cost, it has a point power at the end. So you are trying to add to your deck some of the better cards, because you start off with pretty weak cards. The base pack has a lot of lights out, It's got some scavenger hunt, which is how you can get rid of cards. Like, you don't want a bunch of lights out in your deck. So when you play a scavenger hunt, you can get rid of 1 to 3 of your cards. It's like, I don't want these. There's s'mores that you gain 2 energy. And the free time, move 1 space on any path. Yeah, so these are the base ones. And then each of these little boxes gives you other kinds of cards that give you other things to be able to do in the game, which makes it a unique game every time you play. No 2 times is it going to be exactly the same. The mechanics, what you're doing, is the same. But how you can get to do it changes a little bit with each of these cards. Now, so uniqueness, there's a similarity to the speed in parcheesi and in Chinese checkers and in sorry and trouble. But there's also that a grandchild of war with the deck building, because you're not really hurting somebody else when you choose a card. Yes, now they don't have that choice, but you didn't take it away from them. You took it away from the field where anyone could choose it. So, it's not as gotcha as war is. War is, I want it all. This is, I just want to get to the end with the most points. Thank you very much. Don't get in my way. Yeah. So that's the uniqueness. It's got a lot going for it. And then ease. How easy is it to learn, teach, play? How easy is it to find? How easy is it on your pocketbook? Well, the first one, we look at the rule book. And the rule book is pretty large looking. But here, it's just telling you what's in the box. The components, just like I just told you. And then, how to set up the game. Step by step, picture by picture, how to set up the game, knowing that this is a little different than what you might be used to. But they show you exactly how. In fact, they even give you a sample of what the final setup will look like once it's all done. This is what it'll look like just before you start playing the game. Then you come to the rules, and they're very straightforward. The objective. You want to know, what am I supposed to be trying to do in this game? And then it takes you how to play, the end of your turn. It talks about the merit badges. It tells you the important rules. It spells it all out very clearly. And then it gives you an example of what a turn would look like. And then the game end. And how to, what is winning the game. Now, this here, it looks like, oh my gosh. It's like, this is so you don't have to memorize a whole bunch of stuff. This is showing you what exactly, if you're wanting to pick out which cards do I want to use. I mean, I think my first one I chose friendship, arts and crafts, and games. Because it was like, yep, that's what I want to do. I want games, arts and crafts, and friendship. I don't want outdoor water sports and adventure because that's just my personality. If I went to camp, yeah, those would be my choices. But this will show you every kind of card that is in those boxes so that you have an idea and go, you know what? Let's try that box this next game. And so that's all here with the pictures. I love this. But really the rules are this page and that. That's it. And that is step by step. So really, it's not a hard game. It's got a lot going for it, but it works really well. And once you've done it once, you got it. It's even if you completely change out the boxes, you got it. You know what it is. And so the ease is, no, it's not Uno, but it's really kind of like phase 10 rummy. Once you know how to do it, go for it. You can play it, and you can play it over and over again. Kids can play it. It's a family-friendly game once you've learned it. It just has that little bit of a learning curve that first time you play it. And after that, it will build very easily. For older kids, teenagers, pick up very easily. And us older adults, even we can figure it out. I figured it out by just pretending to be two people. I set it up and I played those two people to see how everything worked with the rule book open. And I did it and I'm here like, oh, now I understand exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. It was easy. So it's really not as hard as you might fear. Easy to find. There's something special about this game, which is why I kind of waited until now to see if anything was changing, but it hasn't changed yet. And it's near the end of the year, nearing Christmas. So if this is something that you would like, there's only one place you can get it, and it's Target. Target has an exclusive on it for at least the first 6 months. They have an exclusive. You could only get it through Target, either in their store or online. But in their store, they might sell out. Online, I just checked and they still have them. They have plenty. So it's not like you cannot get it. You just have to get it through Target. And easy on the pocketbook. Truthfully, it is very easy on the pocketbook for all the games you're going to get out of it. It's $25, $24.99. $24.99 for being an exclusive place and with good quality Meeples. The badges are good, thick cardboard. Actually, even a nice little shiny, smooth thing. The cards, they're not something special, but they're not cheapy either. They will hold up well. And I mean, the player cards and the cards for the board, very thick cardboard. Okay, so $25 for all of this and the variety that you can get into it. And it's very thematic and it sticks with its theme, very much so. And you'll learn deck building and worker placement. You go, this little guy kind of goes along and you choose where he's going to go so that you can get the best stuff out of the game. It's really it's a good deal. It's a good deal. But remember, right now, at least in around Thanksgiving, Christmas of 2021, it's still only available through Target. Summer camp. And that is getting a clue about summer camp the game. So, have a wonderful holiday season. God bless. Until the next time, happy gaming. Bye.